Hello everyone, a new Spiral Abyss is out, and before we start I just want to say please subscribe to support me. I usually add this line towards the end of the video, but I don't think many people watch till the end, so I'm just adding it over here. If you enjoy this video, please, it just means a lot and it really helps me. Now alright, let's jump into this Spiral Abyss, which is probably the easiest abyss since Nordcry began, since the Luna patches began, and it's all because it's Shilling Lohin, who isn't really that insanely strong, and then Shilling Maoika, who I think like majority of the people probably would have Maoika by now, if not for her looks, her meta purpose obviously, because she is still one of the strongest DPSs in the game. Now for the first half of this abyss clear, I will be using Nefer Bloom, Nefer Premium, and for the second half I'll be using Maoika, Shilonen, Charlotte and Auroron. For the first half, I've noticed that you can use a plethora of teams. Like it's very versatile. The enemies aren't very restrictive. I chose Neferbloom because it's my weakest Nordcry team, and it's probably the weakest team that I have right now if I go with meta operators. You can also Zibai works, Flynn's can work, although with Flynn's I would recommend keeping a Dendro or a Cryo unit, because you have certain enemies that really will ruin Flynn's. Nefer works because Dendro shreds Electro, shreds Hydro, and is very easy for the third boss. So with that being said, you can use Zibai, you can use burn teams with Klee, Emily, you can use Varka, you can use Skirk Premium also works. It's like I said, it's a very versatile stage, and since the buff is elemental skill damage bonus, you can also drop in Farina, you can drop in Nahida, because they primarily deal skill damage. So it's good enough, it is very good. It's a very versatile stage, and this is a really nice way to frame Abyss. Now for the second half, I am using Maoika, Shilonen, Auroron and Charlotte. You can replace Auroron and Charlotte with one unit that's called Citlali. But if you don't have her, I recommend keeping at least one Cryo Catalyst if you have, or any one Cryo character that has almost 100% uptime on Cryo application. Now if you're using Maoika, Shilonen and Auroron to charge her burst, and Auroron is very good for that third boss where you need to stall her. Now the first boss in this abyss, in phase 2, second half, whatever you want to call this whatever it's called, Secret Source Automaton, is one of the most annoying bosses, but thankfully it's only on the first stage. You can just retry and try different teams. Maoika obviously shreds it, but if you don't have Maoika, I would recommend Varka could work, Arlecchino could work, and to tackle the towers that it generates, you could obviously use characters that have high jumps, basically Kazuha, Varka, or you can use Kachina. Kachina is free and she climbs up very easily if you don't have Shilonen. But like I said, if you destroy those two orbs on the towers, they deal massive damage to this automaton, and it will be very close if you don't have the meta units, because the HP is really tanky on the first half, but it's only on this one. The second one and third ones are very easy. Now moving on to the second one, we have this Baptist. Now this dude is annoying as hell, and you really want somebody with Cryo or Dendro, because those, or maybe Pyro if you want to use Pyro, but I recommend Cryo or Dendro. If you use Cryo, you also get the true damage buff that is currently running in the Abyss. To avoid that, I chose Neferbloom as well. With Nefer, her Dendro application isn't really that high. It takes time. It takes time. Even with Llama in the mix, it just takes time. Now you can replace Barbara with Baiju, with Nahida if you have C1 Llama, because you don't need to worry about the heals then. But still, I recommend keeping a healer, Kokomi, Barbara, because you get the double HP buff and that helps Columbina. With the Geo Bishop, I honestly can't recommend, you have to keep a shield. It will definitely make your clear easier, but don't focus on it, because if you keep a strong healer, it's more than enough. his attacks are like, very easily readable. It's like the three same moves that he does in a normal rotation. With Nefer, I mean, with any lunar team, I think this Geo Bishop will die easily. But once again, stating that, it's a skill damage bonus buff, and you can obviously use Skirk. I used Skirk in my initial run, where I was just, playing full meta on. So I went with Skirk Premium, and that absolutely shredded the Geo Bishop in like, I think less than a minute. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. But yeah, Nefer works, Skirk works. I would honestly just, keep Dendro or Cryo. For the second half, the Mirror Maiden is annoying and you want to take her out immediately. Like, immediately. Use your burst, use your highest damage, use your supports, do whatever you want to do. But just take her out immediately because you want as much time as you can get on the Swanee. Now, when the Swanee appears, thankfully, it does not have that Magu Kenki iframe invincibility entrance. So you can just, go ham on it from the beginning. The one thing that you need to take care of is like, you need to freeze it. So that's why I said to keep Charlotte. And if you don't have Charlotte, if you have Citlali is basically perfect for this boss. And if you don't have Citlali or Charlotte, I mean, Kaya could work. Kaya is free, and one skill tab is all you need to freeze the Swanee. After that, you just do one melt and it will lose its resistance. And that's it. Like, once its resistance is down, it takes massive amounts of damage, and any hard-hitting Dendro, Pyro Damage dealer can deal it. Like, DPS Duran, Klee, Arlecchino, anyone that you have built. Okay, after that, the third floor. Now, the Watcher is one of the easiest new bosses that we've had in quite a lot of time, because, its gimmick is very, very simple. If you've played Stygian Onslaught, or if you've seen my Stygian Onslaught video clear, you would know. But once again, telling you, you want to basically apply, like, you can figure out when its recording phase will start, because he openly announces that, each moment will be recorded or something like that. And then he has this small bar appear. Whenever that small bar appears, if you're using Nefer teams, go to your Hydro dealers, go to your Hydro Catalyst, and just, quickly apply Hydro on it. Dendro works because, this dude will not mistakenly absorb Cryo. If you're running Skirk, he could mistakenly absorb Cryo if your Cryo application is high enough, and that would, basically ruin the run. So you'll have to time it well, or you have to pay attention to see Hydro getting applied. With Dendro, with Lunar, Nefer teams, you don't need to worry about it, because Dendro will not get absorbed. And once the two crystals that it forms is down, you can easily kill it. Like, this dude does not have a lot of HP. As for this one, the reason why I said to keep Auroron, because, for the Swanee you need Charlotte. For Auroron, you need this aim, because that aim pauses this Mist Maiden. I don't really remember what her called, Soothsayer, whatever she is, that Master the Nightwind boss. And it's very easy to tackle her, because once she is frozen in place, your Pyro DPS will deal most amount of damage. And once she's down, just go blasting full on her. Mawika Burst, or maybe Arlecchino if you have her. The reason I don't use Arlecchino is because my Arlecchino is C0R0, and that bond of life is not regenerating itself with a charged attack. So that's why the QOL kind of sucks on my Arlecchino. Mawika is C0R1, so it kind of makes things a lot more easier. But if you have any, like Arlecchino C0R1, I'm pretty sure she would be able to handle it, because that weapon gives her a huge quality of life buff. And honestly, if you have Citlali, you can just replace Charlotte and Auroron with Citlali, and then, keep a flex unit, keep Nicole or Bennett or Janssen or whoever you want. And that will make things a lot more easier. Also, you'll see in my clear that, I have quite a lot of redundant artifacts on my Mawika team. So this clear could also be better optimized if you have different artifact sets. I just, do not farm a lot of sets. So for my Nefer team, you will see C0R0 Nefer, C0R0 Lama, C6 Barbara, and C0R1 Columbina. And the crit rates are horrendous, not gonna lie. And I'm overcapping on Columbina. So, like, yeah, if you have better builds, you'll see better clear times. and my skill levels aren't that great, so it's basically to compensate the fact that I have majority of the meta characters, so I can form the meta teams. But if you don't have, or if you're missing one unit, raise that skill level, because that will definitely make a difference. With my, like, once again I'm stating that for the first half you can also run Skirk Premium. Skirk Premium works really well. Zibai works really well, but and Flynn's will also work really well. But you just need to take care of the Electro Baptist, because you really want a Cryo or a Dendro character there. So that's about it. And for my Maoika team, you will see me using my C0R1, my beloved Maoika, who I love so much. She is the most beautiful character in the game. God, I love her so much. Uh, yeah, I love her. C0R1 Maoika, C0R0 Shilonen, who is actually on the scroll set, and Auroron as well is on the scroll set. So you see the redundancy over here. So you can obviously replace Shilonen, put her on Archaic Petra, and get more buffs basically. Charlotte over here is on Favonius because energy regen. She's on 2-piece attack, 2-piece, I think something ER, and C3 because I don't have Charlotte copies. Auroron is C6 though, because I was very lucky on Auroron banners and he'll just love to come home for some reason. And Auroron charges Maoika's burst pretty fast. So that's it. I mean, that's the Abyss. It's not really difficult that this time, and there's not a lot of gimmicks that you need to counter. So with that being said, thanks for watching and have a great day. Goodbye.